Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to another game of the Semi-Pro ILG. I am joined in by my co-commentator Todd, and the game right now is Clueless Gaming vs FuriousFive. Jinx, Maokai and Timo being banned by Clueless Gaming, and Zerat, Cassiopeia and Morgana being banned out by FuriousFive. What's your take on that, Todd?
Banning Jinx, Maokai means they don't want to see those champions because they either don't want to see late game or they are just they're just comfort picks for the enemy team, I guess, for Team FuriousFive. I don't know what the Timo ban is for, because it's either a troll ban or it is a targeted ban, because Timo is actually a very good solo lane, a solo queue champion. He can actually tend to irritate everybody in solo queue. He usually dominates lanes and he's a lane bully. You can't even gank him past level 6 because you'd have shrooms all around, and he's just pretty annoying to deal with. So either it's a targeted ban or it's just a plain troll ban. Meanwhile, the Zerat, Cassiopeia and Morgana ban are probably the Zerat and Cassiopeia ban are obviously aimed at Damien. Damien actually played a mean Cassiopeia yesterday. He pretty much set up the entire game for Clueless Gaming yesterday against Nexus Destroyers. So yeah, they didn't want to see the scary Cassiopeia again. And Zerat also is an annoying mid lane champion where he can just poke out from a very safe range and deals a lot of damage. Morgana is Morgana is a common ban, I guess, here in ILG. It's played by so many people, and I guess it's one of the comfort picks for Vulcan33, who is Clueless Gaming support. Yeah, Obi, go on. What do you think about the picks? Hello?
So alright, that's Thresh being picked up by Clueless Gaming, and Wukong and Brom being picked up by FuriousFive, and Sejuani and Corki being locked down. I would say Sejuani is a very strong jungler with the new meta change, and Thresh and Corki, I'm not pretty much fan of that bot lane combo, but Thresh is one of those very heavy supports to play on. It can be a bit, Thresh can become a bit tanky, and he is a bit of a bully in the lane. We have seen a Fiora being played before by Yellow Flash, and I think there is another Fiora being played by FuriousFive. What's your take on the Fiora being picked up?
Again, Fiora is a typical solo queue champion as opposed to Team 5v5s. I'm seeing it for the first time here in the ILG, but obviously it is a comfort pick for Team FuriousFive's top laner, I guess. And I see that Team FuriousFive's top laner is mostly a solo queue player, seeing that he has pulled in a Timo ban from Clueless Gaming. So yeah, again, a bunch of solo queue champions is what he prefers, I guess. So nonetheless, Fiora is, once she gets a few kills, she snowballs pretty hard and she does a ton of damage to AoE damage to the entire enemy team as well. So she's a force to be reckoned with, but she can be countered if the team splits up. So yeah, it'll completely depend how they play around the Fiora. So yeah.
Well, that is true. Holy Gunners going on his very comfort pick, that Caitlyn Brom, another not that all-in comp. I am not much fond of that comp, but it is pretty strong bot lane. Renekton being picked up to counter that Fiora. Renekton is one of my favorite champions of all times, and that Katrina being picked up in that mid solo, one of the very high snowballing champions we've seen being played in this season. Lissandra being hovered on. I think he might pick up that Lissandra because of that extra mobility against Katrina. But as of now, I would say the all-in-all team potential of the blue team is looking much stronger than that of the purple team. What is your take on it, Todd?
I'm surprised he did pick up Damien. I think Damien is going for the Cassiopeia. Damien is the mid laner. But I'm surprised he picked Katrina before the enemy's mid laner because just as we suspected, he picked up Lissandra because Katrina's ultimate does a lot of damage, but it is countered by a lot of CC as well. The top laner, being Fiora, doesn't offer any CC whatsoever, but Lissandra and Braum and Wukong should be able to stop Katrina's ult if at all she manages to snowball. But nonetheless, Katrina is a very hard snowballing champion as well, and you need to make sure you control her laning phase and prevent her from roaming around the map. Again, a bunch of solo queue champions pulled out in this 5v5 game. Pretty unusual as well. So yeah, Katrina, Fiora, you don't often see them in the ILG. They have been picked up before, but it's not one of the top picks here in the ILG.
Yep, that is true. But Katrina is one of those very snowballing champions, which goes very well with that Sejuani and that Renekton ulti. Renekton can shed out your AoE HP, and it goes very well with that Katrina ulti and Sejuani locking down the entire team. Braum should be the one, and he's the only one except Braum and Lissandra are the only one who can lock down the Katrina on her ulti basically, and they should be focusing to save those skills for when Katrina basically ultis and protect the game, because once Katrina starts snowballing, it's very difficult to stop her late game.
Exactly. But if actually the Wukong can also stop Katrina's ult if Wukong ults onto the Katrina, and it completely depends on how Katrina plays it, because if she has to wait for the rest of her team to initiate. Because if Katrina initiates any fight, that's a very bad way to go, because Wukong can just ult on her and she'll have to, Shenpu away defensively or something. So I'm pretty sure Damien is aware that he shouldn't be the one initiating. Nonetheless, yeah, actually, though Lissandra pretty much counters Katrina in lane, in the team fights, it all comes down to where the Katrina's positioning is, because if Katrina plays it like a very cunning assassin, she could just wait for Lissandra's ult to just pass away, and then she can just Shenpo inside the entire enemy team and clean up everybody.
Well, that is true. The reset on Katrina is the main factor they'll be relying on. The more resets that Katrina gets, the more dominant she'll be in the gank. So your prime focus is to shut down that Katrina and not let her do that main damage. And you have to not let that Renekton become that very tanky force early game, because Renekton is one of those perfect counters to the Fiora.
What do you think the Renekton would be building against the Fiora? Because we do see top Renekton usually going a little bit of damage first and then start building armor. But how does he build Renekton against the Fiora?
Well, I think he can go pure damage. It truly depends on the lane. If he gets a kill early on, he could go a brutalizer into that Sunfire Cape, or he could just rush into that Sunfire Cape, or a Randvin's Omen to start off that very early tankiness against Fiora and just demolish her presence in the top lane.
Yeah. On paper, team for FuriousFive has a lot of AoE. Wukong, Fiora, Lissandra, Braum. It's 4 people with an AoE ult. So if Clueless Gaming plays around it, split apart and come in from different directions and not stick too close, then they should be able to come up ahead in these team fights. Katrina shouldn't be sticking with the team, especially because she's an assassin as well, and I think Damien would know how to position himself as an assassin and uh, you know play the comp accordingly.
Well, that is true. The game has been paused. Pretty standard pickups. I see that Katrina picking up a Doran shield. Mostly, I've seen Katrina starting off with that ancient tomb, but we see this Katrina picking up the Doran shield. What's your take on that? Do you think she's scared of that early game Lissandra presence?
Well, Lissandra does bully out the Katrina pre-level 6 and even past level 6. Katrina's ult is completely stopped by Lissandra's ult, but then Katrina's ult has a shorter cooldown compared to Lissandra's ult, right? At least it was before. I'm not sure because they have recently nerfed Katrina's ult's timing. So it used to be like 30 seconds or like 40 seconds or so on Katrina's ult like a couple of patches before. So I did notice like when I played up Lissandra against Katrina, Katrina would just start ulting whenever ult comes off CD, so that I'll be taken pretty low on HP and I'd be forced to back, and her ult would come twice before I could get my ult once. So it completely depends on how they time their ultimates. Do you have any idea about the latest Katrina's ultimate timing? Because I'm not sure.
Well, the latest Katrina's ultimate timing, I guess, is still level 1 40 seconds, if I'm not wrong.
It is? Okay.
Oh no, it is 85 seconds. Yeah. 85 seconds and on Lissandra level 1. Ultimate. And
you do see that Lissandra's ultimate comes out in 123 seconds. So Damien has that window of opportunity where he can just, Lissandra's W wouldn't be able to, though it just nas him, it will not stop Katrina's ult. So if Katrina manages to just ult whenever her ult comes off CD, it should give him an upper hand because you do have a window of opportunity where you can work around the Lissandra. It's not exactly a counter pick. That's how you're supposed to play the Katrina against the Lissandra. Yeah. But early pre-level 6, Lissandra does have an upper edge where as long as she doesn't get poked out by Katrina's Q as much, just keep your distance from your caster minions, Lissandra should come out ahead in the trades. She can manage to poke out the Katrina. Well, the Katrina has to just focus on farming as much as possible pre-level 6, and that is exactly why you see a Doran shield buy on the Katrina. I think it's a wise buy against the Lissandra.
Yep.
Not exactly that he's scared. It's just it is a better item against the Lissandra.
Yep, and you see the basic wards being placed right now. Basic all items have been mirrored. Fiora with that Doran's blade and 1 healing pot, whereas Renekton with that. Renekton would be looking on to that early neutralizer, picking up that long sword and 3 health potions. So it would be an early interesting game. Let's see how the top lane pans out. I would be expecting a lot of action in the top lane because Fiora is one of those champions who relies on a lot of early killing pressure. But Renekton is one of those champions who is again very heavy in sustained lane damage and surviving in the lane.
Exactly, and that answers our question. Renekton has started off longsword instead of a Doran shield, so he will be going for a brutalizer start. So yeah, Renekton has to make sure he doesn't fall behind early game. behind the Fiora, because if he does, he might have a little bit of trouble. But nonetheless, Renekton is good against the Fiora, so I guess he should be okay as long as he doesn't get ganked. Even if he does get ganked, he does have a flash, and Renekton has a good escape. So I think it should be fairly in the favor of the Renekton. Meanwhile, you do see the Renekton taking a lot of minion aggro. So yeah, he has to make sure he doesn't make such mistakes at top. Fiora snowballing should be something that should be avoided at all costs, because he can one-shot your AD carry no matter what.
Yup, that is true. You can see Braum and Caitlyn pushing this bot lane as of now. Holy Gunners is missing a couple of CSs. Renekton also pushing this game, and that the game's been paused.
Yeah, actually, I think Holy Gunners disconnected. I just saw him stand there and auto attack minions for no reason. So yeah, it should have been a disconnect on his part, I guess. And we do see that Team CluelessGaming has a lot of magic damage, because Katrina is a magic damage dealing champion. Corki deals half of his damage is magic damage, and Sejuani, he will be building full tank, but his damage is mostly magic as well. So we can see the likes of an Abyssal Scepter picked up by the Lissandra and a lot of magic.
Not to forget, even Renekton's ulti is basically magic damage. So Fiora going heavy in on that Renekton, and the game's been paused. I'm not sure if it is
exactly. Renekton started with the longsword, which is why he's losing the trade against Doran's blade. He just has to, he has 3 health pots to sustain on. So if he goes all in against the Fiora with the Doran's blade, Fiora will be able to kill the Renekton, which is what we see happening right here. Not to mention, Renekton did take a lot of damage from the minion aggro.
Yep.
He didn't play the matchup right.
Yep, you need to keep a track of your minion aggro. If you take a lot of damage early on, you cannot basically outtrade your opponent. And there's another pause coming in. A lot of pauses being coming in. Damien's getting DC'd again and again.
Exactly, but nonetheless, you do see the flash being burned by the Fiora to kill the Renekton, and it failed. Renekton still has his flash up. So I think it was, though Renekton is forced out of lane, he can probably just TP back into lane, and he does have a flash advantage. So Fiora does have a teleport advantage, and she could make some plays in the bot lane. But early on in the game, I don't think Fiora is capable of making any plays at this moment. So I think burning a flash on the Fiora was worked out in Renekton's favor. He can just base right now and teleport back to his lane.
Yup, that's true. Renekton will fall a bit behind from Fiora, and Damien has reconnected, so I guess they will unpause pretty soon.
You did see Damien, due to the Doran shield, he's able to farm up pretty fairly well against a very pokey Lissandra. They are pretty even in CS at mid. You do see that Lissandra has an advantage with that Q poke, and Lissandra is not that heavily dependent on mana as well, because her passive helps her, cast an extra spell every 18 seconds or so, without cost of any mana whatsoever. So Lissandra can actually win out, slowly poked out, sustained lane. Meanwhile, Fiora goes aggressive. Fiora has no flash and a good gang coming in by Sejuani will result in first blood.
Like I said, if the Fiora falls behind early, it would be a problem, and Sejuani, considering that factor, doing a gank up top because the Renekton was falling a bit behind and getting ganked by Fiora. Fiora was just overextended there without a flash, and she paid the price for it.
Exactly. That was actually well baited by the Renekton. He was very low on health, very low on HP, and he baited out the Fiora into killing the Renekton, but he was not aware of Sejuani sitting right there in the hind bush. That's what resulted in first blood. Meanwhile, you do see Braum getting hurt, but he is Braum, he's pretty tanky, he should be able to sustain a little bit of damage. Caitlyn using her range to poke out the Corki pretty well. That is exactly what a Caitlyn is supposed to do. She has to make use of range and not...
Pre-6, the Caitlyn should be able to poke out the Corki pretty well. Once Corki gets his missiles, he should be able to harass that Caitlyn out of the lane. But pre-6, Corki is doing his job perfectly.
Corki is falling behind either. He is able to farm up fairly well. Bot lane CS is bang even at the moment, 37 is to 37. Fiora is going aggressive onto the Renekton here, which is not exactly the wise thing. And Caitlyn gets hooked in the bot lane and flayed.
Yup,
she
gets flayed behind.
Heal.
They will.
She's being exhausted, Caitlyn. Caitlyn first a flash, a follow-up flash. Follow-up flash by the Thresh will result in a kill. Meanwhile, action happening in the mid lane as well. Lissandra is blinking very low on HP.
Wukong
that's the clone.
And basically another fight taking place over here in the bot lane.
Exactly. So that is 2 kills coming in for Clueless Gaming. It would have been almost 3 kills because Lissandra was pretty much died in the mid lane, but Sejuani did help out Katrina right there, but nonetheless she survived with very less HP. So all is good so far.
Yup. So it is 2-0 as of now. You can see a 1k gold advantage coming up in 7 minutes, which is quite a major gold advantage. Katrina buying that Magi Soul Stealer almost instantly. It is very interesting to see that.
Exactly. It's more of a solo queue build with a Magi Soul Stealer, but Damien, I guess, is very confident on his Katrina play that he will manage to secure a lot of kills or at least assists. But yeah, I mean, you do see the Magi's being picked up by a lot of Katrinas in solo queue because she will be able to roam around the map and pick up a lot of kills or assists. But here in 5v5, you'll have team communication where whenever Katrina goes missing, it will be communicated to the entire of the team. So picking up a Magi Soul Stealer in a complete 5v5, I'm not sure about that, but let's hope that Damien makes it count.
Pretty much, but personally I am a fan of that Magi Soul Stealer because of something like this. One combo on that Lissandra, dropping her down by 60% of her HP. Magi Soul Stealer is one of those snowballing items on Katrina. Even I like to rush it, may it be solo queue or sometimes even on the rank. Depends basically on the scenario how far ahead I am. But we'll have to see if it was a good decision or not. Pickaxe being taken up by Renekton, so Renekton is not basically looking up for the tanky build. He rather wants that Hydra to be completed so he can split push. Katrina being caught out there. Lissandra locks it up in her ulti, and she has to shun her away.
Ignite being burned by Lissandra as well, so that wasn't the wisest of moves because the Lissandra has to have waited for the Shenpu. so as to at least burn the flash and Katrina, but Katrina just shanpu'd away, and that's how Lissandra's ult on cooldown, which means again you can see Damien going aggressive with his ultimate whenever it comes off his CD again. You did see Damien actually going in on the Lissandra, forcing him in back to base, like I pointed out earlier on in the game, where Katrina will be able to pretty much ult twice for Lissandra ulting just once. Braum gets poked out in the bot lane.
Yup, but Braum. Oh, another great hook. Backplay. He is caught in the ulti. He will fall down. And that's a kill to Agent 007. Wukong coming in. Will he be able to do? He does get his ulti on. Flashes in, and he might get a double kill. Oh, just.
That was very close. That was
very close, but Thresh picking it up from Wukong, and Tiamat being completed on that Renekton.
And that was actually a very good play coming from Vulcan's Thresh, because if he hadn't played Wukong properly in that scenario, it would have resulted in Wukong just getting a double kill very easily. But that play actually managed to get the kill onto the Wukong.
Yup, that is true. Blue team is looking a bit dominant over here. More than 1.5k.
Just a sec. Meanwhile, at top you do see Fiora going fairly well, and Ultimate's going burnt at mid. Wukong taken pretty low, will get hooked, he has no clone, he cannot bait anymore. Katrina ignites Wukong, and that will be a kill picked up by Katrina onto the Wukong. Renekton meanwhile gets a kill onto the Fiora at top lane as well.
Blue team is just snowballing right now. It is just snowballing so hard right now. I can't even begin to describe.
Exactly, and that will be a free dragon as well. They have no members on the team of on the side of FuriousFive to even contest for it. Wukong just died. The mid laner was taken out of the fight just now, so that will result in a free dragon. This is looking bad because Katrina is a very late game, but nonetheless, I feel that FuriousFive has the superior late game team compared to Team Clueless Gaming. They do have Katrina for late game, but Caitlyn should outscale the Corki in late game. But looking at the way things are going right now, 6-1 in and a goal lead of nearly 3,000 at minute 13. The game should be closed out by Team Clueless Gaming in the mid game, but if they fail to close out the game, it will go in the favor of Team FuriousFive late game. But let's see what happens.
Pretty standard damage trades being going out as of now.
Bot lane, CS is pretty much even, and Lissandra has no ultimate. That's the window I've been talking about, where Katrina can go aggressive onto the Lissandra and still come out on top. So Katrina can bully out the Lissandra whenever her ultimate comes off CD, and that is exactly what Katrina is doing. So, and a good ult by Lissandra onto herself, but that will not stop Damien from picking up another kill. Wukong comes mid, but Katrina will just shenpu away onto a minion.
Yup. Unfortunately, the entire ulti of Wukong being wasted. Exhaust being burned out. Thresh does use his ulti, and timely heal. I don't think that heal was completely necessary, but Holy Gun are still using that heal to save the Braum, and they will get a retribution kill finally in the lane.
Exactly. Tom's passive managed to secure a kill onto the Thresh early game, and despite Corky being ahead, it now results in Caitlyn picking up a kill as well. So bot lane is looking pretty much even at this point. Top is going in favor of the Renekton and mid is going in favor of Katrina, but it is a slight comeback for FuriousFive at this point. They have to maintain this and make sure they survive the mid game phase. If they manage to do that, they have a very good chance of winning the late game, but let's see if they manage to hold on to that.
That's very true. 7-2, almost 3k gold advantage into this game. The blue side is looking pretty dominant, though none of the turrets have been pushed or pressurized as of yet. Sejuani happily taking that blue buff because nobody really needs it.
Meanwhile, Fiora is actually CSing pretty well against the Renekton despite being 2 kills down.
Yup, Renekton doesn't want to complete that Hydra, will respect that Fiora and her damage potential and will go for that Randuin Soman which I was talking about. There's a gank on Lissandra. Lissandra ultis on herself. She will go down. Renekton picking up that kill. And bot lane, another damage trade being going down. Braum ultis, but Caitlyn is way far away, getting caught by Thresh, and Caitlyn will fall down. Another backflay, and that would be a double kill for the Corki. So Corki is snowballing right now. He is just way ahead in farm of that Caitlyn.
It was pretty even until that point where Corki just picked up a double kill. It looked like Caitlyn was winning on the trade because Corki did get queued by the Braum and he almost got stunned and stuff, but a good hook coming from the Thresh onto the Caitlyn and an ult, good ult as well from Thresh managed to actually turn that fight around.
Yup, that is true. And what a bait! Sejuani basically baited that Wukong. Katrina was waiting on the sidelines and she picked up that kill on Wukong. If I'm not wrong, there's 11 stacks on that Magi Soul Stealer by Katrina. And she is a bit snowballing right now.
Exactly. Magi Soul Stealer does manage to pay off right now, and a good roam coming in from Lissandra at top. Renekton gets taken pretty low. He does have a lot of tankiness. A follow-up flash by the Fiora to kill the Renekton. Thresh comes to save the day. Will this go? Whose favor will the kill go to? And SWAT 1, 2, 3, 4 on the Renekton manages to pick up yet another kill onto the Fiora. That was a very good turnaround. A good roam coming from Vulcan 33 on that Thresh. And Dragon has gone live at the moment as well. But meanwhile, in the bot lane, Caitlyn managed to make something happen out of all that. Managing to pick up a tower. But,
yeah, that's the first tower. That's 3-1 in task. Ulti being blown up by Sejuani and the Caitlyn will go down. Blue team snowballing pretty hard this game.
Exactly, and this should mean the second dragon as well, uncontested.
Yeah,
Fiora has a teleport and they could actually potentially try and fight it 4v4.
They have
no vision on Renekton as you know, so they are afraid of going in for a 4v5 battle. It was actually a 4v4 if they actually managed to contest for that. but it's a bad idea to actually do so because they're so far behind right now. They have to wait and see if they can get to the late game. Meanwhile,
that is
Thresh
true.
gets
Thresh getting caught down. I'm sorry, and Damien picking Damien. Oh, I'm completely sorry. Thresh being caught down and Demacia picking up that kill on Thresh. So it's 13-3. Sejuani with the flash and engage, and Damien with him completely capitalizing on it. Wukong with that ulti, and Fiora coming in. Sejuani will pick up a kill but will fall down to that Fiora. It is 16-4, and this game is still in the favor of blue team by a long margin.
That was chaos all over. Team Clueless Gaming actually went pretty YOLO on that. They did lose Thresh before the fight, and they lost a 4v5 under the tower. That shows how far behind Team FuriousFive is at the very moment.
And Fiora taking so much damage. Thresh ulting, Thresh flashing in for a backflip, and double kill being picked up by that Katrina. I guess she has the 20 stacks on her Magi's. Does she?
I'm not sure. I can't see how many stacks the Magi's has right now.
Magi's has 19 stacks, so she's just one kill behind on getting her 20 stacks on Magi's. And once she gets those 20 stacks, I think it's pretty much game over from that point.
Exactly. She is very fed at the moment, 406 and 157 minions, compared to the Lissandra sitting on 121 with just 125 minions. So the only way Team FuriousFive can come back from this huge gold deficit is if they manage to catch out one of the carries, either the Corki or the Katrina, because even if they manage to get a kill onto Renekton or even the Sejuani, they could still win a 4v5 fight at this point because they're just so far ahead in this game.
Sejuani with that perfect ulti and the clear up done by Katrina. Triple kill coming in for Katrina, and that is one very fat-fed Katrina. Blue team looks just so dominant right now. They will take down the inhibitor turret, and they will take down the inhibitor. It's 22-5, 22 minutes in the game, and I think only a miracle can save the red team now. 20k gold, almost 10k gold advantage, and Katrina says should have picked LB.
Sorry, Katrina should have picked LB. What?
Katrina says she should have picked LB.
Oh, okay.
And it is 10k gold advantage and 2 dragons in favor of the blue team. They are snowballing pretty hard right now, and we are 23 minutes into the game, and as God and go back to the base and complete his items. So what do you think? Do you think the red team FuriousFive can come back?
Chances look grim as the base is cracked open for Team FuriousFive. It is a 10,000 goal lead, and we do see 2 dragons being taken as well. So,
and that's a hook landing on the Braum. They will take down. They are going for the Wukong. Will Sejuani pick her up? Beautiful kill by the Katrina. 2 people falling down, and they will go for the inhibitor turrets. Sorry, the Nexus turrets. And this might be the game. Sejuani breaking the turrets, not really being bothered by what's going on. They put an ulti on the Caitlyn, and Caitlyn just surviving with the brink of an HP. Fiora almost taking down that Katrina, and she will take it down. Fiora is fighting that Corki 1v1. Corki didn't have the complete confidence in him, and that's a failed surrender vote from the red team.
Exactly. Team Clueless Gaming could have just picked up a free Baron at the moment when they got 2 kills at mid, but they just went in straight for the Nexus turrets, which is surprising.
They didn't even go for the Nexus turret. They tried to kill that Caitlyn. They tried to be cocky, and that cost them the fight over there.
Exactly. The third dragon is coming in 20 seconds, so that should be another dragon picked up by Clueless Gaming, and that should give them a bigger edge because the third dragon gives them movement speed, and it will help the Caitlyn a little bit more compared to other champions. So yeah, after getting the dragon, they can just head straight to the Baron. They can even, I mean, they can just fight, bait out a Baron fight, or even if they lose a Baron at this point, they're just so far ahead that they can just kill them even if they lose the Baron, and even win a 5v5 fight.
And that's a hook landed on Grom with a perfect backflip, and Sejuani lands that ulti. That is a double kill by Katrina, and Sejuani picking up a kill. They will take down the top turret. Wukong coming in. The Marcia getting a kill on the Thresh, and picking a double kill, getting a kill on Sejuani as well. But that would be ace for 2 deaths, and they will take the top inhibitor turret as bottom inhibitor turret as well with the inhib. So the game slowly slipping out of the hands of the red team, and eventually I think it is one of the losses which the red team will have to face.
I think it's pretty much GG. 2 inhibitors are down. There is they cannot solve out the late game anymore. It's too late for that. They're way too ahead at this point, and they have 3 dragons as well. They will just group up and probably fight under the 1 Nexus tower that they have, and just end out the game right here. They are seen heading out for Baron. They do see 2 inhibitors at mid and bot being taken out. So yeah, it will mean a free Baron as well. It will be uncontested as well. So yeah, this game should be closed out in the next 5 minutes or so.
FuriousFive basically playing a solo queue game over here, and solo queue never works in a team fight. Picking champs like Fiora and playing a game with a solo queue mentality doesn't work. You can see the Wukong is so behind because Wukong is one of those champions which is currently not in the meta anymore, and they still tried and played with it, and not respecting that Katrina ban enough has led them.
The Wukong pick, I feel, is pick away from King Bradley, because King Bradley played it yesterday, and it's one of his main champions as well. So it's just
but not respecting that Sejuani ban was what caused them, because Sejuani is just so strong with the new jungle item, and that is another cleanup by the blue team. They will take down. Katrina is on a quarter kill. And will she pick up a pentakill? She does pick up a pentakill. No, did she?
Is that a pentakill?
No.
So Corki did secure the kill onto Fiora, so it will be a quarter kill.
So sadly, Corki denied that pentakill to Katrina. Katrina will have to settle for that quarter kill. And Clueless Gaming does win this game against FuriousFive. We almost nearly saw a pentakill there, but it was a complete one-sided affair.
Exactly.
GG in 28 minutes.